What's up, guys? It's your favorite entrepreneur here, Sierra Nicole, and we are back with another episode of The Boss Seat. The Boss Seat is a show where I interview different individuals who are absolutely killing it in their respective fields, and you get the chance to see what it costs to really be a boss. Let's go ahead and take a look at today's guest. And on today's episode, we have Carmelita. She is actually a personal friend of mine, and I'm super excited for you guys to hear about her entrepreneurial journey with her business. So Carmelita, thank you so much for coming here today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So Carmelita, let us know, what it is that you do and who you are.
Well, basically, my name is Carmelita Barrymore. I am originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. However, I reside in Dallas. My business is called LulaMi Hair Essentials, and it's pretty much a hair growth oil that I made myself after losing my hair due to postpartum hair loss. I actually stumbled upon the business. I'm kind of glad that I did, though. But it is a 100% natural hair growth oil that promotes scalp health. It promotes rapid hair growth, and it basically is good for overall health in your hair. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And I've actually tried out her hair growth oil. So you guys, at the end, we're going to give you guys the link, but make sure you go and check that out. But Carmelita, how did you even come up with this oil?
To be honest with you, I got tired of wasting my money on products that didn't work. And when I lost my hair, obviously we're being, mothers and things like that. So postpartum hair loss really hit me hard. I lost my edges completely. They were gone. And like I said, I got tired of wasting money on products that didn't work. So I went back into my heritage and my culture and just kind of went back to things that my grandmothers did to promote hair growth for me. And ironically, I put it together, tried it out, and it worked. So I put it out there, and everybody wanted to get it at that point.
That's amazing. Yeah. And you started this year. And as you guys know, 2020 has been crazy. What has it been like to launch a successful business during these times?
It has been challenging because, at the time when I launched, I started out February the 21st was my launch date, which was my son's anticipated due date. So everything about it was significant. Right. And I want to say that following week after me launching is when the world pretty much shut down. And it was challenging because, everybody's wondering, how am I going to provide for my family? You're losing jobs and things like that. And then to launch a business in the middle of a global pandemic, right. It was challenging. But I feel like I overcame that. There were different issues that I had with production, all kinds of things. And, you may not have seen that, but I made the best of it.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And like I said, 2020 has been crazy, and a lot of business owners have been taken out. And so it's amazing to see your growth this year with your business. And, we're in a digital age. It's 2020. What is it like having a product-based business when so many people are, doing the e-commerce or the drop shipping model?
It's different, and like I said, this is my first time really doing a product-based business, and I know everybody's really digital and things like that. So when it comes to having a product-based business and, the world is basically digital at this point, it's like, how do you set yourself apart from the new norm, because everybody's trying to make money at home, and my product is basically just being shipped out at this point.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are some challenges that you've faced this year with growing your business?
The biggest challenge that I've had thus far, when I first launched, believe it or not, I had an issue with my bottles. Oh. And this was something, like I said, I started to prepare and plan for months before the launch. Right. And when it came up to it, in the midst of coronavirus, when I launched, I was getting feedback that the bottles were leaking and things like that. So what I was able to do, though, I had to find another vendor. The vendor that I had was not responding to me at the point. And it's like, okay, you got to go in go mode because business doesn't stop. So thankfully, my customers were understanding, and that was just a small mishap that I was able to overcome and get through.
Right, and pivoting and being able to adjust is so important as a business owner to be able to do that, because some people would, they get discouraged. So what are maybe some tips for people who do hit, hiccups like that within their business? You stayed encouraged and you adjusted. What are some tips you can give someone going through something similar?
Well, basically keep the goal in mind. Things happen, so it's not going to be a smooth process all the way through.
Right.
And you have to think quick and on your toes. So for me, it was just, letting my customers know, like, hey, I apologize for this, and this is what I can do for you. And just really just finding out different options to keep going.
That's amazing. That's amazing, guys. If you are watching this live right now, go ahead and put down in the comments, keep going. Okay, keep going. That is a motto for 2021. 2020 was a crazy year, and so this year is all about keep going. So thank you for that.
Definitely.
Within your business, what are some things that maybe you thought were going to be easy, but maybe ended up being hard, or vice versa?
As far as that is concerned, I think just getting it out there,
Right.
getting it to the right audience, getting it to the people that actually need it. That has been the most challenging. And, growing your social media following and making sure that you're collaborating with like-minded people. Because I have, like, in my industry, there's a lot of influencers and things like that want to work with you, or startup influencers, but you have to make sure that it aligns with what you're doing and that, you're intentional behind the people that you connect with.
Right. Yeah. And that's really a major key that you just mentioned, is making sure that they align. 'Cause I'm sure there's a lot of influencers out there who could, promote your product, but the fact that you choose people who do align with your vision and your mission is important.
Right.
For businesses, especially within the beauty field, like you said, there's a lot of influencers. Do you maybe have some tips for beauty products wanting to get out there on social media?
So when it comes to growing your brand, everybody's really excited. You want to go and find the biggest influencer, right? What I have noticed is, you have to be mindful of the difference between having followers and having influence.
That's key.
And me personally, you'll find some of these influencers that charge so much money, but you have to really dig deep and first make sure that they're your targeted audience. And not only that, don't pass up the micro or the macro influencers, because they have so much engagement and their audience, can really help you to grow brand awareness and things like that.
Wow, that's important, because I know, so we get caught up with the metrics of it, and you have hundreds and thousands of people, but what's the real influence? So I love that you said that. So I know that you mentioned earlier that your brand LulaMi was based off of your culture and your heritage. Can you elaborate a little bit more on the backstory?
Yeah, sure. So the name LulaMi Hair Essentials, it's very significant to me because it's inspired by both of my grandmothers, my Lula and my Mimi, hence the name LulaMi. And the thing about that is, a lot of people don't know that I'm actually named after my grandmothers, and they pretty much played a huge role in the woman that I am today. My Lula is Carmelita Mendoza, and my Mimi is Carol Ann, and my name is Carmelita Ann. So, it definitely comes to play on that. But when it came to branding my business, like I said, they were truly my inspiration. My Lula, for example, she basically came to the States from Manila, Philippines, and basically had nothing. So for me to see her come from nothing and to make herself into this boss, and back in the 90s, 1996, 97, a small little Filipino woman walking onto a ship closing deals amongst these big, men, it's kind of like I'm right there with her, so it's kind of like, you see this example, and then she's telling me and reminding me constantly that you can do and be anything that you want to be in life, and take me for example. So that was a huge role in that. And then my Mimi, for example, she actually had a different route. She had my mom when she was 15. And so she was a teenage mom, always working to do and be the best mom that she could be. So in New Orleans, she actually was a housekeeper for the wealthy. So I'm basically being taken along two journeys. My Filipino grandmother that has this entrepreneurial spirit, and then my grandmother who's hardworking. They both were, but they both came from different paths, and I had an example of that. So just really focusing on the legacy and just making sure that I can build something that they're proud of definitely helped.
That is powerful. That's really powerful. And to see that you've had, examples of strong and powerful women, to be able to bring those two together, and now you have this brand representing both of them. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Thank
amazing.
you.
All right, and I know that you're also a mother, besides also being a business owner. What is it like juggling that?
It can be challenging, because he's very attentive. I have to be very attentive to his needs and, just running around chasing him and then making sure I'm filling orders. Because right now it's just me on one being camp, so I'm juggling motherhood, juggling, business, returning emails, taking phone calls, networking. So it can be challenging, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah. And what are some tips maybe to new moms? Because especially right now, a lot of people are working from home. A lot of people are, coming up with new side hustles and businesses. What are some tips for new moms to be able to balance that?
I say make sure that you take time for you, because a lot of the times we get so consumed in being mothers, wives, friends, and we sometimes forget to take care of us.
Right.
So I think it's very important to make sure you have some self-care because it's necessary. You don't want to get too consumed in being everything for everybody else.
Right.
It's okay to take care of you.
Okay, so with your brand LulaMi, where do you see yourself within these next few years?
In the next few years, honestly, I have such a big vision for it, and I believe in being very intentional. And when I came into the industry and when I came into the business, I always had this big goal in mind. Like, I know that once it gets to where it needs to be, it's going to be a multi-million-dollar business. I can definitely see myself adding some more products down the line. You may see me in Target, you may see me in Walmart. That's the goal and the vision that I have for it. So I definitely see it being a global thing.
I love it. Well, you guys heard it here first. So when you see LulaMi in the stores, just know that you heard it here first.
Right.
Awesome. And I ask everyone, because I don't want to keep you too long, but I ask every single guest who comes on the show this question, because we are the Boss Seat and we're about, bosses in any field. So, Carmelita, when you hear someone say, I'm a boss or you're a boss, what does that mean to you?
Well, it means that you took a chance on yourself. It means that you weren't afraid to go out there and just get it by any means necessary. Some people are afraid to do that, but it's okay to take that chance and to really go after your dreams.
Absolutely. I love that. If you're watching this live, make sure you guys are hitting that share button. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the YouTube channel. Carmelita, thank you so much for coming and sharing your journey and your story here with us today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And let us know where we can find you.
You can find me on www.LulaMiHairEssentials.com. If you would like to connect with me on Instagram, my Instagram is LulaMiHairEssentials, and all of my information is there. So I look forward to connecting with you and to see your progress for some healthy, long and strong hair.
Yes, I love it. And we'll make sure you can find the links down to her website down below in the description. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. This is another episode of The Boss Seat, and we're going to catch you guys next week. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this week's episode of The Boss Seat. Make sure you are catching me live right after this episode on the Live Waves app. Okay, make sure you guys go and download the app and find me, Sierra Nicole, and we are going to do a recap of this week's episode. You can also stay connected with me on all social media platforms, Instagram, Clubhouse, Facebook, and YouTube. And we are going to catch you guys next week for another episode of The Boss Seat.